Control levers are a cool little item that you can build out of bones in Anime Studio Pro. With version 10, the folks at Smith Micro have made it significantly easier to do that. It gives you the chance to create some limited animations that you can very specifically control simply by dialing it in with a bone. Let's go ahead and take a look at it. One of the reasons this is nice is because you can repurpose, shall we say, existing content. Let's see what we have to work with here. Let's pick up lightning. We can import multiple views of this character by simply checking the checkboxes here, but the only view I'm interested in right now is the lightning front view, and I'll choose OK. I can close my content library, and there he is. Go ahead and move him a little bit and zoom in. Now you've seen some of the control dials, I'm sure, on the stock content that comes with Anime Studio Pro 10. Well, here's how you can apply those same types of dials to other content that comes with the package or create it for your own stuff. Let's go ahead and get going. We have the bone layer selected for the lightning front. If we had imported other versions of this character, we would have multiple bone layers, each with a different position. Gosh, he looks like a superhero, but let's turn him into a Vulcan or something like that. With the bone layer selected right now, I can come over here to my Add Bone tool, and I'm going to click and drag upwards, but I'm going to hold the Shift key down to constrain the bone just to make it perfectly vertical because I like it that way. With this done and that bone highlighted, we can come to Bone and come down to Make Smart Bone Dial. We get a modal dialog box that asks us to go ahead and name this. So I'm going to name this Vulcan. And we have a range of angles, and I'm going to leave it at the default for 90s, and a duration of frames if you want to go ahead and extend this out over time. Really what this does is give you incremental control. So between having the bone control it one direction to another, I have 100 steps, so I can make this a gradual thing if I want. This isn't really time-based, it's more iterations. I'll click OK, and we see that we've popped into a blue timeline down here. Now, we haven't gone over timelines yet, but this will be easy to follow along on. We can also see that the actions here for Vulcan have popped up now for us to work with. Let's go ahead and begin our transformation. I'll go ahead and step forward one frame to frame 1. We see the dial flip automatically over to the left, which will be the maximum value one direction. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit closer. And I don't know what layer this head or face is on, so I'm going to come over to the layer palette. We have a tool over here that allows us to choose layers, and I'm simply going to click where the ears are. With that done, I'll go ahead and come to my point tool and click once again. This will set all the bones or create keyframes for them, as we can see right over here. Now, I remember that that was set to 100 frames, so I'm going to take the timeline slider and move it down to 100. I can verify that by the frame counter right here at the bottom of the canvas area. And now what I'll do is grab the point right at the top of the ears and pull this out. Let me do this to the other side. So now we've got a significant change of appearance for our character right here. And if we go ahead and click on the main timeline, we see it set back to a mid position. We see our character return to normal. To go ahead and engage this in a scene, what we need to do is to go ahead and come up to the top of bone layer, and we need to advance beyond this 0 time frame. I can go ahead and make a change to this effect right here, but it's not really going to check. When I go ahead and step forward one frame, we'll notice that this resets to the center area. I can go ahead and set it back here just to make sure I've got a keyframe for that. I can come down a couple seconds, 48 frames here. If I want to make sure that it remains in the same position until I get here, I can simply click on the dial once. And this makes sure that when I drag the timeline indicator that nothing changes in between. However, if I want him to vulcanize between frame 48 and frame 60, I can move the timeline indicator down to 60, simply drag this out, and we have an animation instantly made for us that is repeatable, that we can use over and over again.